Well, today is an anniversary. Sadly, it's an anniversary of a major and tragic event. And I would argue, first and foremost, obviously tragic for the family members. And we're talking about 8 people. We're talking 4 adults and 4 teenagers. And a lot of focus right now is obviously on the 4 teenagers in Carteret County. And the mother of one of them who died in a plane crash, and then the 3 other adults were in that plane as well. This is a great loss of life, disappointing loss of life, but at the same time, it's a moment for us to take a kind of a recollection, an awareness of who and what we are and what we have. And earlier today, as a matter of fact, East Carteret High School, where the 4 youngsters who died, where they had been going to school. The 4 youngsters who died, they were attending East Carteret High School. There was a series of memorials and activities. As a matter of fact, we have joining us this afternoon Jay Westbrook, who is the principal of East Carteret High School, and interestingly enough, appropriately attired in his hunting gear, as it were. So with that, Jay, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
I'm going to get you a little closer to that microphone.
Thank you.
And let's talk about the experience, the fact that all of a sudden teenagers have this life-altering event in their lives. And I'm not talking about those that died. Obviously, that was extremely life-altering. But all of their friends, and suddenly mortality, at the age of 15, 16, 17, and 18, I was not going to die. But all of a sudden, that entire school ran headlong into the issue of mortality. What took place today? And then I want to talk to you about how we as a community can handle this event, and in the future talk to friends, families, and those youth about situations such as this. So what took place today?
Well, we took it as we've grieved for a year. We've missed them every day. We're never going to replace them in the hallways at school, but we took it as a celebration and a remembrance of our 4 boys, to celebrate their lives and honor their legacy that we've seen. Obviously, knowing all 4 of them, wonderful All-American kids.
I mean, for you, I'm of course I'm focusing on the teenagers, but wait a second, you were principal.
I was.
You knew these kids. You say you know these children, these youngsters. I don't want to say young men.
Right.
You know their parents. My apologies. I went right on by you, but you too got that phone call Sunday night.
I did. Mr. Paler actually called me Sunday afternoon.
It happened about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it was about little after 2. And, my world changed also. But I've learned a lot during that year. And so have our students. One of the things we told them today, and Bailey, Jake's stepbrother, talked to our students today, and he talked to about living life to the fullest. These students, every story I've heard, they're outside playing, riding 4-wheelers, just being good old American boys. And we can take a lot from that. They live fun. They live to the fullest.
That's a very good point. I apologize for interrupting you on that. But as a parent, or in my case, a grandparent, there's a potential to reach out and say, oh, no, I can't let him or her go out and experience an airplane ride as they were doing, or a hunting trip, or a road trip, or a boating trip, go fishing, swimming. There is that potential that a lot of parents who know these children, and by the way, I shouldn't say children, these young men, the reaction could just as easily be, oh, wait a second, let's wrap them in bubble wrap.
I've raised 4 kids. I understand that feeling, but it is important that kids get out and experience life. They're going to grow up. They're going to be able to experience
And they're going to trip. They're going to skin their knees.
Absolutely. I hear no stories of these four boys playing video games or just hanging out inside. They were boys that like to ride four-wheelers, get in the mud, play outside, fish, hunt. What a great life. Did not have that opportunity in my life. And I've learned so much just hearing these stories that makes me, I wish I would have grew up down there.
Okay, that's a good point. We're talking about a plethora of people here, but let me just remind folks, we're talking about Cole Cole Fulcher McGinnis, and then Noah Styron, Jake Taylor, and Daley Shepard. They were part of the passengers. They were that were on this fateful airplane, which fell out of the sky a year ago today. As a matter of fact, it was a Sunday, and interestingly enough, I was talking to someone yesterday about that, a fire chief here in the county, and he commented. He said we were just standing there talking, and he said, "This is a much better day than a year ago." And I kind of looked at him, and I, of course, knew today was going to be the anniversary, but it was a Sunday. It was Sunday, February 13th, when that airplane crashed, taking the lives of those four young men. Stephanie Fulcher, the mother of one of those, of Cole's mother, Hunter Parks, who is the owner of the airplane and a friend of Stephanie's, and the two pilots. So 8 lives were lost that day. The other aspect of this, and of course there were a variety of celebrations. The other aspect of this, Jay, and again, Jay Westbrook, principal of East Carteret High School, with us this afternoon in his hunting attire. Did the students all dress up in?
We had a lot of participation. Camo Day today, and our students, they were there to embrace and remember.
Almost a spirit day.
It was a spirit day. It will forever be a spirit day at East Carteret.
Yeah. I go back to my question a moment ago, and I think you shared that with us. But so there was energy on the campus. There wasn't. There was no pall, if I could say.
No, we knew. We've talked about it in a lot of conversations. We had a lot of celebrations planned for them today.
Right.
We had decals we gave to them, remembrance bracelets, and we want to celebrate and honor their legacy. And that's the point of view we took. And the students, they're there to support their classmates that they lost and did a great job.
I'm going to turn the tables on this. Is it damaging if we make too much of an issue of this? Is there a point where, you can broach over the hill, if you will?
Well, I think anything you could.
Take too much to an extreme.
But I think when you really honor and celebrate the legacy of 4 amazing students and what they meant to a student body, I don't think you can do too much.
Okay.
That support, we've seen it from the community, and just knowing we're there for them. The families were there this afternoon at an assembly we had. That was amazing. We were so appreciative to be able to bring them back to campus and let them see a part of what our student body thinks about their children.
I think that's an important issue. All right, we'll take a quick break on that as I opened the program, or this segment, making that mention of the fact that this is the anniversary of the fateful death of 8 people. 4 youngsters from 4 young men from Carteret County. Their mother, the mother of one of those young men, and 3 other adults on an airplane crash took place off Drum Inlet. Still unexplained. There's still the FAA is still working on the cause of it all. Jay Westbrook, principal of East Carteret, with us this afternoon for a few more minutes. Jay, back to the comment I made earlier about the experience today. You've given me an understanding, and I'll encapsulate it very quickly, that the school, the students have embraced this. They understand that they're not going to give up their lives. They're not going to cower in fear. But let's talk about you, a principal, which I ignored a few moments ago. My apologies. I owe that to you. You're the one who got the phone call from Richie Paler, now superintendent, then assistant superintendent. There's been a plane crash. You've just lost 4 of your students at East Carteret High School, a small school, about what, 900, 800?
We're about 540,
500, 500. Okay. And so you knew these kids. Let's get this through everybody's mind, mine included. You have to worry about them, the impact of the rest of the student body. Oh, yeah. And the parents who you knew and the community. How do you, as a principal, and how do the teachers respond to this sort of circumstance?
Well, fortunately, Carteret County Schools has a great support system.
Understood.
And we brought it all in, many hands make light work. And we were a great team coming out of that. We've been a great team ever since, getting the proper guidance, meeting the needs of our staff. We had processes in place for them, support for the students. We had it in place today to help them with the grieving and the healing process.
That's focused on the children or the students, right? But wait a second. There were teachers who had appreciation for one of these or all of these young men. There was you. I mean, you too go through this grieving process.
Oh, everybody that's a part of that community and that school went through a grieving process. I mean, it was, but you see the students coming back and the teachers coming back, and we have a great staff at East Carteret, and a lot of them are East Carteret graduates.
Did it help the fact that, as we mentioned a moment ago, you said about 500 students, did it help that, in fact, it was paradoxically, it was a smaller school, so therefore there was an ability for everyone to sort of spread their grief. I use that term, spread their grief among each other. They were with a sense of acknowledgement.
Well, I think one of the special great things about East Carteret, we're a small community school. We know everybody.
Yeah.
We get a lot of one-on-one. Multiple teachers had these students, and they, recognize other students, and we all just come together as a family, and that's what we've been doing ever since that day. And making every day, trying to get better each day, while remembering our 4 boys.
Well, the other aspect of this, and of course, teachers are constantly pressured to, help those students excel. It's all academic, but there is that social component. And this is a situation which I'll say is not unique. It happens in other schools. Suddenly a student dies, suddenly and tragically. I say tragically. Every death is a tragic event. And you've got to explain it to the students, but at the same time, it's tough, I think, on the education, the staff to have to, hold this in as well. Is it not?
Oh, it's very hard. It's very hard for everybody. It's they just, we had our moments together, and like I said, we were there for one of each other, and really leaned on each other's shoulder during the tough times. Even today, our staff just come together. East Carteret's got an amazing staff, and they know our students. One thing special is they are one-to-one. They have a lot of relationships, and we all took it on, and we do what we do for family.
Well, and I've got to say, and last year I know for a fact that students across the county at all the other high schools celebrated Camo Day. We call it Camo Day, or this is a day which the county has recognized as a hunter's day for youth hunting. And as a matter of fact, coincidentally, that was what these youngsters were involved in, a special day for youth at the State Department of Wildlife Commission has set aside for youth and veterans, and these youngsters were participants, and they were among many who were at this particular event in Hyde County. As we wrap it up with you, and again, I want to thank Jay for taking the time to be here today. I'm under what I would call difficult circumstances, I at least would anticipate, principal of East Carteret High School. Looking at this, final word, what would you say to the parents and the grandparents talking to me, for example?
I hope that I could raise kids that meant so much and live life with zest and fun and so many great stories. They were, yes sir, no sir, they were great American boys, and if I could do that, I would be very proud. And to know the legacy that they've left with East Carteret forever be in our hallways.
I commend you on that, and I guess really today is a good day for all of us, particularly here in Carteret County and surrounding counties of eastern North Carolina, to take stock of the valuable assets, the miracles that these young men and women represent in our lives. And so take advantage of that. This looks like it's going to be a regular annual event at East Carteret High School.
It will be for as long as I'm the principal, and we have amazing staff, and we want to celebrate their legacy for a long time.
I think what you just said, celebrate their legacy, and it's an important legacy for Eastern North Carolina. Jay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And to all the families who have been impacted by this, not only the immediate but extended families into the county, our deepest condolences and sympathy and support as the years go along. Thank you for being with us here on Viewpoints here on the Talk Station.